Okay, welcome back, folks. So we're going to be focusing on lesson 1.2 today. Now, there's the Pythagorean theorem here thing. We're skipping that for now. We're going to come back to that later. X. I'm Xing past that. I'm going to use this space, though, to write out a little bit. So just be wary about that there. I'm gonna turn me off. You guys don't need to see my face. All right. Should be seeing my screen now. Cool. All right. So we are going to be focusing on a couple things. There's grade, angle of elevation, and the tangent ratio. I'm going to talk about the tangent ratio thing first here. Triangles are annoying. Triangles are stressful. We're going to focus more on them later. I apologize. We do have it in the course right now, though, for a little bit. But anyways, so I'm going to make sense of this. It's going to sound a little weird first. It's not going to make sense. Trust me. Just just follow along for a bit. So I'm going to give the definition first. We'll turn this into English in a second. So the slope of a line, which we know is rise over run, right? M equals rise over run, is what we call the tangent, which is opposite divided by adjacent. We'll go over that later. Of the angle of elevation. Again, we'll go over that later. So when you know the tangent ratio, right? That's the slope. You can use the inverse tangent function, which is the tangent to the power of -1 x. And it'll look something like that. Oops. Oh, why does it do this? Hmm. Sorry, folks, having some difficulties here. Try that. Oh my gosh, why? Anyways, I'll deal with that in a second. So because slope is equal to the tangent of the angle of elevation, you can convert an angle of elevation to a percent grade by using tangent of theta, which I'll draw in a second, times 100. And I know none of this makes sense right now. Bear with me for a little bit. I'm just drawing in this -1 and this theta symbol here. So again, I know none of that makes sense. Just hear me out. So once you get that definition, I'm going to keep going here. So what the heck is the tangent ratio? Basically, we use this when working with an angle or finding an angle. Okay? This is your cue to when you need to use it. If I have an angle or I'm trying to find an angle. Sorry, let me close out of that. There we go. So going back up to this space here, um, we need to do a couple things. The first thing we need to do is label the triangle. The hypotenuse is the longest line and it's opposite of the right angle. So look at where my mouse is right now. I'm drawing this. This is the right angle. This is a 90-degree angle. So if I'm looking at that, what is opposite of this? It is this side here. This side here, where my pen is at right now, is the hypotenuse. I'm going to write H, right? H, hypotenuse. Next, the opposite side is opposite of the angle you are given or finding. Now, in this case, this depends. if I am saying, hey, you need to find this angle, angle B, is that 20 degrees, 30 degrees? I don't know. You would use what's opposite of that as the opposite side. Now, I'm going to use a different color for this, though. What if I was saying, hey, find this angle, angle A? Well, then that's the case, then this would be the opposite side. So it depends. The answer here is it depends. I'm going to stick with the red part for this point. And then finally, there's only one thing left, an adjacent side. The adjacent side is whatever is left. So that's the order we always go in. So if this is my hypotenuse, this is my opposite side, that means this is my adjacent side, A. H-O-A, right? Hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. So you need to understand how to label the triangle before you can do anything else. So we're going to come back to this. I know it's confusing. It's okay if you're like, I don't know what he's talking about yet. You will. It takes practice. This is a full unit later on. If you don't get it right now, that's okay, guys. That's fine. So I'm going to skip past that for now. And instead, I'm going to go and work on grade. What the heck is grade? Well, grade is the slope of a road or any other surface. And it's usually expressed as a percentage. To give you an idea here, if I'm a truck driver, going down a road, I might see this sign here. This is in your textbook as well. In section 1.2, which you should have read before going here as well. But anyways, this is a road sign. It's saying, hey, this is a steep. In this case, it's going down, but it could be going up. If I have guys coming from the other direction, it's coming up. It's a 7% steepness. Doesn't sound that much, right? Oh, 7%, who cares about that? But if you really, really think about it, don't write this in, but something like this, a road like this, that goes up a little bit. This might only have a steepness of, I don't know, like 12%. It doesn't take a lot to really go and mess you up a little bit. Roads aren't supposed to be super, super steep. It's only supposed to be a slight incline and decline because you need to be able to stop in winter or in rain or if you have bad tires or whatever. So with slope, to convert a slope, we know how to find slope, right? Rise over run, to we call percent grade. We just multiply it by 100, right? So if I want to go from slope to percent grade, so from slope to percent grade, I multiply it by 100. So for example, if I give you this triangle, let's say the rise is 10, rise is 100 meters and it runs for 50. Rise over run, my slope is 10 over 50, or 1 over 5, right? That's my slope. That should make sense from the last one. So if that's the case, 1 over 5 times 100, this is a 20% slope. Think about that picture I showed you earlier. Now the opposite's true though as well. To convert a percent grade into a slope. So let's say I give you, hey, this is a 20% grade. Find the slope out of it. I just have to take my rise over run, right? My slope, and times it to 100. That's what it is. So next, going into pitch here. So what pitch is, I'm going to make this blue just to make it a little bit clearer for you guys as we're taking notes. So slope of a roof is called pitch. we express it as a number of inches of rise for every 12 inches, which is 1 foot of run. So a roof that rises 6 inches, you notice when I'm putting this little symbol here, these quotes, that is inches. Every 12 inches would be 6 to 12. You notice that I'm putting it as a ratio. A 6/12 slope is the same thing as a 6/12 pitch. Okay? Again, what would this look like? Imagine a roof. This is saying, hey, this is 12 inches of run here. For every 12 inches of run, every foot, I can see it rises 6 inches. This is important because sometimes you get those houses with really, really, really slanted roofs, and sometimes you don't. And that comes into play with stuff. All right, so let's do some examples here. We're skipping question 1. I do not care about Pythagoras, but I am going to try and find the measure of angle A. So angle A, it wants us to find this, right? Hey, is this 10 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever it is? That's what it wants us to find. Well, so how we do that is, first thing we're going to do is what we're going to figure out what ratio. This is going to come into play later. Now I'm going to tell you right now, though, everything you're going to see right now is the tangent ratio. So I know I need to use tan. I don't write tangent, I just write tan, right? Math, they like to shorten stuff. So the tangent of we say the angle, tangent of x, is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent side. Now, I'm not going to write this every single time like this. I'm not going to do that because that makes it a lot harder for me to be able to write using this computer. So instead, what I do is I just go opposite slash. That slash is supposed to be like a fraction. It's opposite divided by adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. So I figured out what ratio it is. I've put that formula down. The next thing I need to do is I need to substitute. Fill in the numbers. So fill in the numbers. So tangent. Do I know my angle? No. So I'm just going to leave that as it is. I don't know what my angle is. Now, do I know what my opposite side is? Yes, this is my opposite side because it's opposite of my angle. This line where my mouse is right now. This line is my hypotenuse because it's opposite of this right angle, which means 3.9 centimeters is my last side, adjacent. So my opposite side we know is 2.5. My adjacent side we know is 3.9. Cool. So what I really want to do here is I want math to tell me what my answer is. I want it to be like, don't write this down, the angle is, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, whatever it is. The problem is this is saying the tangent of the angle. That's not what it's asking me. It wants me to know is, what's the angle? So I need to get rid of this. I need this to go away, this tangent. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to divide both sides by this. I'm going to divide both sides by tangent. Oh, that's easy. Okay. So I'm trying to get rid of this. I need to divide it on both sides. So pay attention to this. Stop writing. Don't use anything in your calculator. Look at what's about to happen because it's going to cause an issue. So, okay, 2.5 over 3.9. And I'm going to divide this whole thing by, if you look in your calculator, there's a tangent button, T-A-N. Divide it by tangent. That's going to be the answer. Breaks your calculator. You can't actually divide by tangent. It doesn't work that way. So instead, what your calculator needs to do is So first off, let me just write this in. So it's 2.5 divided by 3.9, and that's all divided by tangent. That's what's supposed to happen here. So I don't know why my computer's doing this. It's getting frustrating for me too. I'll fix that for next video. So this doesn't work as we've discovered. So instead, what I need to do is I need to use second function. I press tangent, I press my fraction button, and then I solve it. So look at what my calculator does here. So I've just shown you I can't divide by tangent. It doesn't work. So instead, what I need to do is I need to do second function, tangent. You know, this is little -1 here, right? This is little -1 here. We're doing what's called the inverse. This is dividing by it. Okay? For example, if I give you 10 and I say, so if I give you 10 and I put that to the power of -1, it turns into 1 over 10. It flips it. I'm dividing it by 10 now, right? So in this case, if I need to divide by tangent, all I'm going to do is second function, tangent, then I input my fraction, right? Use your arrow keys. Now it gives me, oh, it's 32.6 degrees. In this case, I'm just going to say it's, yeah, I'll go to one decimal place, sure. 32.6 degrees is my final answer here in this case. Again, if you are confused right now, that is okay. This is a difficult concept. I'm not really going to score you on it that much this unit. We will spend a lot of time on it later in the course. So if you are overwhelmed right now, don't panic. It's fine. It's common. This is the way they've just designed the course. I don't like how it's right here either, but that's what it is. I promise you'll get through it. So we're going to go back now into slope and grade in a second. But before that, we're going to do one more of these tangent things, which is question 2. So I want to, actually, no, I'm going to skip question 2. I'm going to go down to question 3. Sometimes it's going to be, when you see a word problem, a little bit harder. We're going to draw a picture. So Martin is driving his truck on the Trans-Canada Highway, and there's a sign indicating a 7% grade. What is the slope of the road as a fraction? So, let's imagine it's something like this, right? You don't have to actually draw this, but here's his truck, yada, 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 right? So it's saying that, hey, there is let's do a little sign here. And you don't have to do this. There's a 7% grade here, right? Well, what's the slope of the road? So I'm going to go into this thing. 7%. What this is saying, it's 7 over 100. Percent means over 100. How many cents in a dollar? 100. So that's what this is saying. So what is the slope of this road as a fraction? That is 7%. Now, is that as simplified as it can get? Let's find out, right? This was in your exercises before the previous lesson. 7 over 100, put that in my fraction, enter it. Oh, that is in fact the simplest. So that's the answer here. So it is 7 over 100. Now the next one here is it wants to find the angle of elevation of the road. So this is my right angle here. So does that mean I'm trying to find the blue angle or the green angle? Well, let's think about this for a second. Now, I want you to imagine that there's 2 people. Don't draw this, but there's 2 people. This is a tall building. I have a person at the top, and I have a person at the bottom. The person at the top, where is he looking? He's looking down. He's depressed. His head is down. The person at the bottom, his look is elevated. He's looking up. Now, which one of these two angles here, blue or green, is looking up? Blue. So I'm trying to find my blue angle here. Let's get rid of that. So I'm trying to find this angle here. So let's think about this. Oh, I'm trying to find an angle. Ooh, angle. I'm trying to find an angle. I need to use tangent, right? I need to use tangent. So I already immediately know I need to use tangent. What's tangent? Well, tangent of the angle of x is equal to opposite over adjacent, right? So I don't have any numbers here. I don't have any numbers. Well, here's what I know. This is rise over run, right? So it's rise in 7, might be meters, might be feet, might be inches, for every 100 it runs. So I do have numbers. So in this case, which was my opposite? The 7. So my tangent is equal to my opposite, which is 7 over 100. Now, just like before, I need to get rid of this tangent. I need to get rid of that so it's just the angle. The problem, as we discovered, though, is I can't divide by tangent. So I need to use my second function key. So now this separates the angle, right? So now it is tangent to the power of -1, right? Second function of 7 over 100. Oops, -1, right? Right, so that looks like this. Again, to do it in your calculator, follow along with me. Second function, tangent, you did it right because you see this -1 here. Fraction button of 7 over 100. Equals out. You'll know you've done the right answer if you get some kind of a number bigger than 0. This is still a small number. This is saying that that angle is only 4 degrees. But think about it. It's not like your roads aren't that steep. That makes some sense. Now, if you were to have not done that -1 thing, let's say you forgot to do second function. That's not right. 0.001, if it's bigger than 1, you probably did it right. If it's smaller than 1, if it starts with a 0, you probably forgot to use the second function key. So the angle of elevation, right, this blue angle is 4 degrees. So let's go now into a shed, specifically a pitch. So this pitch of this left shed here is 3 to 4, and the pitch of the right shed is 8 to 9. Now remember, pitch is the slope of a roof. We express it by inches, right? It's the amount of rise for every 12 inches. So this is where we're going to be doing exactly what we were doing the last lesson, is start with what we know. I'm going to separate these. I'm going to put the left side over here and then the right side. So on the left side, it's 3 to 4. So on the left side, I'm putting what I know, right? Think about what we looked at last lesson. Start with what I know. Where am I? Start with what I know. I know I have a pitch of 3 to 4. Right? And this is the left side's rise, the right side is run, as we established in our example. What I also know is that, look at this. So this is the left side of the roof, right? Oh, well, this is 3.2. Sorry, I made a mistake. The run is 3.2, so it goes on this right side. So what I'm trying to find, though, is this. Well, how high does it go? Now, luckily, they've labeled it a nice H for us. So height. So just like before, let's think about this. I need 2 things in common. I have 2 things in common right here, my runs. Of these, I know I can take 4, I can times it by a magic number to get 3.2. Maybe it's 4 times, 0.75. Not quite. Maybe it's 4 times 0.8, and so on and so forth. You could guess it, but how do you find that? Think about it from last lesson. How do I find that magic number? You go opposite. 3.2 divided by something gives me 4. So 3.2 divided by 4 gives me the magic number. The magic number here is 0.8. 4 times 0.8 gives me 3.2. 3 times 0.8 gives me 2.4. Cool. So I'm going to go label that in my graph. I now know that this line right here, H, is 2.4 meters. So at this point, I want you to try and find the right side now. Just literally pause the video, try it out. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong. Try. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm starting now. So this right side, again, start with what I know. What do I know? I know the right side is 8 to 9. I also know that I have a rise of 2.4 now on this right side. So now I can use what I know. I have two things that are similar. I have two rises. 8 times some magic number gives me 2.4. How do I find the opposite? Well, 2.4 divided by 8. Oh, it's 0.3. So 8 times 0.3 gives me 2.4. 9 times 0.3 gives me 2.7. Let me circle those. Those are my answers. Okay, so L in this case is 2.7. Yay, I'm done. I solved it. No, I didn't. What is the question asking? You're going to see this a lot. You're going to do all this work and you haven't answered the question. The question wants to know is how wide is the shed? Well, how wide is it? It's this line, 3.2, plus L, which is 2.7, right? So the actual line is 3.2 meters plus 2.7 meters is 5.9 meters long. That's how wide the shed is. So now you've answered the question. You might do all this work and not get the answer. That said, if you were to do that on a test, you would get basically full marks because you've shown me that you know how to do it. You just misread the question a little bit, and that's fine. Okay. So what I want you guys to try and do here is work on your practice questions. That said, you do not need to find the hypotenuse length. You can do question 1, right? You're going to try and find this angle here, angle G. You can do question 2. You're going to try and use this angle here, or sorry, this angle here, angle S. You can do question C. We're going to say you're using this angle here. So you're just finding the angles of those. Same thing. What's the angle? What's the angle? You don't need to worry about question 3A. You should be able to do question 3B though. You don't need to worry about question 4. You can just skip that entirely. You can do question 5A, but you don't have to do 5B. You can do question 6. You can do question 7. You can do question 8. You can do question 9. You can do question 10, and you can do question 11. And then work on your review questions, which I believe are assignments. So let me just quickly rewrite that out. So you are doing question 1, 2, 3B. You're skipping question 4. You're doing question 5A. You're doing question 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 6 to 11. Then you're doing your review questions. Skip Pythagoras ones. And then you are doing the textbook questions for 1.2 as well. All of this will be written down. So this will all be written down on the assignment page, okay? And on the lesson. All right.